What makes a perfect triangle trade? Well, today in this video, we're going to look at a symmetrical triangle trade idea and strategy and how you can use this in your daily trading when you are looking at these charts, when you are trading. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this. This is a symmetrical triangle short trade idea. So you can actually see this with my automated indicator that I actually built. It's on TradingView, and what it does is it'll actually draw everything for you. As you can see right here, that the price, what happens with these triangles is that price will go hit a lower low and then a higher high. And then what it's going to do is this is going to start to tighten up, right? It's going to start to tighten up and tighten up and tighten up until finally it breaks out of that and then gets you a very strong. A lot of the times you'll see something like this where it'll break down quickly. It'll be a strong breakdown or up. It depends on where, if it's breaking up or to the downside. And then you'll typically see a big follow through like that. So the indicator actually was out right here, but it just continued to go and go down quickly. So how do you spot these on the chart? It's very simple. There is not really a scientific way to spot this, but what I would recommend you do is that when you see something like this, so let's actually move this on over. So let's move this on over here. And so when you see something like this, where there's a lower low and then a higher high, so this is on a lower time frame, a strong wick to the upside and then a strong wick to the downside. That means there is fighting going on. So the bears, okay, the bears are down here, and then the bulls, well, they're up here. And so what's happening is that the bears are right here. They're trying to push this thing down. They're trying to continue to push this thing down, right? The bulls say, and that's actually where we got a couple of these wicks. We have a couple of these wicks right here, and what's happening is that it's having a hard time. This price is having a hard time closing below this on this particular time frame, and what ends up happening is you do see a reversal. And so we saw a reversal there, and then we actually saw another big time wick right there. Then what happens after this is very interesting, and it happens so many times, really on any asset, is it starts to coil. So now it has a hard time breaking this high right here. So you see this high right here, it's having a hard time breaking it. So it just cannot break it. And then the same thing on the lower low here. Price is not coming down here and breaking this. So what tends to happen then is that you get to see this coiling process where it just cannot break these two particular basically these price points. And so right here at 74,900 and then at 73,400. So what's really happening here is this, it's having a hard time breaking these. And so whenever it finally does break, first of all, out of this trend line, it'll also break this level. That is a strong move, a strong break. So what we ended up getting here is we got coiling process, and what happens is now you can actually start to draw some trend lines. And so now when you get to see this price, let's just go if you're right here, right? Let's just go right here. So if you're right here, and I can actually move myself over, and let me just move myself right here. So if this is the price currently right now, so this is pretty simple, right? There is a clear indication that there's something going on at this price level because it just cannot break it. It cannot break it. So now we draw from the highs here to these price right here, and you just draw it all the way over. And then the same thing here. There isn't really anything. The only drawing you would have had at this point would have been something like this. and it did break it a little bit, but this is on the lower time frame. So overall, we would be more interested in a broader breakout than something like that. And so now what typically happens is once you get a bounce, something like this, now you can actually draw. So your first line you had drawn was this one right here. So this was your very first line. Then the second one. So now since we actually hit a low here and went up, now you can draw this second one. So here at this point, you have your triangle. This is where the actual triangle would have been. And let me actually move that over here. So this is actually where the triangle would have been. So you drew this high, this low, and then to this low right here. The highs to the highs at this particular levels. And now what typically happens is you'll start to get bounces and you'll start to get coiling. And so bounce right here at this low, and then right here, right? So we already had this line drawn. So now we were watching for a breakout right there. You see how whenever you see right here, how it tried to break it, it just couldn't. Tried to break it right there, but it could not. So now what happened? Well, another downside move. We could literally follow this along the whole entire way. This is another bounce right here. So here's our first bounce from this particular position. So you can see here in these lows, you had this one, this one, this one. So now you have 3 bounces and you got all these up here. I mean, this is literally the perfect triangle. I mean, you can't get a better triangle than this. You cannot get a better symmetrical triangle, either upside or downside break. And then sure enough, as soon as it finally does break, this is actually a candlestick right here. It's we have it drawn a pretty dark red, and then it just goes and goes and goes, and it just drives it down, breaks out of that zone, breaks out of that coiling to the point where it just will, it actually needs to find another level. Typically what will happen here is it'll find either prior support or resistance, depending on what side you are going in on. So that was just a quick little demonstration of a triangle trade. Like I said, I create software, and this is actually one of the tools that I use every day when I am trading triangles. So essentially it will alert me on this. That way I don't have to be doing all this drawing lower lows and higher highs and higher lows and lower highs and things like that. But it's just, I really wanted to demonstrate the basically the manual way that you can actually draw and see an actual coiled trade. It's essentially just like a coil. Coils up until finally you get either a breakout to the upside or to the downside. This could not have been a more cleaner looking example for this particular trade. So I just wanted to show you that on the charts. They are not always this clear cut. They are not always this clean. But I will say is that if you are interested in trading this type of pattern, triangles, support and resistance, volume levels, things like that, give us a quick little follow on this channel. Give us a quick little like, follow, and maybe even hit us up on a comment. Let us know, if this is the type of trading that you enjoy to do, because we cover a lot of this type of trading in this channel. So like I said, we'll be covering more strategies, more type of ways that you can actually follow along and trade this type of pattern. You can also grab one of our indicators or software that we create. We like to automate as much as we can, and with strong triangle patterns like this, symmetrical, descending, ascending, symmetrical long. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can do with automations. All right, so that is it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, like I said, give a quick little thumbs up, like that, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.